So we are in Trek's European headquarters, and from this building we manage... My name's Chris Garrison, and I work at Trek UK. My job title is hard to condense down into 3 words or less, so I basically describe myself as the media maven. I handle sponsorship in the UK. One of my duties here is to figure out who domestically is going to represent Trek really well, and what can we do to try and help out somebody who might need a leg up. And that's pretty much what we looked at with the Matrix team. I started to talk to Steph a couple of years ago, really like the way the program is run. I like the fact that he's been at this for a really long time now, and he's had so many riders come through his program that have gone on to huge success. And some of them are actually back now that it's a pro team, so it's cool to see it come full circle. But what we really wanted to do was to figure out how can we support women's cycling in the UK. It's a big initiative for us globally to get more women on bikes, and it was just a perfect marriage between having a team come on board and us being able to provide their equipment. So, yeah, easy win. We don't place a huge amount of demand on the team in terms of what we need back from them. For us, we just need them to be out in races and showing up. We don't want to put any pressure on the team to have results. What we want is a team of people who are great brand ambassadors. If you've got somebody that comes up to them at a race and they're sitting in the team pit area and, a family comes up and wants to talk to one of the riders, our expectation is that those riders will take the time to have that conversation and be a positive role model for not just, kids, but for the entire family as well. And so that's really what we ask in return, and part of the reason why we were so keen to work with Steph and the Matrix team is because the chemistry of the team is crafted. It's not just let's get the best possible riders that we can on the team. It's who's going to do a great job in races, but who's also going to mesh well with the rest of the riders on the team, and who's going to do a great job of representing the sponsors that have shown us support. And that's really what we ask is, we want to have riders who are happy to be bike racers, but are also happy to talk about why they're bike racers and what the support that they get from a company like us means to them. Last year, at the start of the tour, we introduced a brand new bike platform called the Amonda. We have done a few different bike models that are designed to accomplish a few different types of things for people who race them. So then the next project for us was to try and figure out, what can we do for lightweight? What would happen if we made the lightest possible bike that we could make? And ultimately, you wouldn't want to produce the lightest possible bike that we could make because it would be cost prohibitive for most people to buy, but then you'd also have to tell people, you know what, you weigh too much to ride that bike. So we sort of backed off and said, okay, well, how light can we make it? How light can we make a bike that we can mass produce and maintain the same consistency and repeatability of quality that we place on ourselves? Those demands are pretty high internally. And so out of that sort of developed the Amonda as a project. And it was all about making something that was really lightweight but didn't lose the ride characteristics that people expect when they get on a trek. So it had to still be comfortable. It had to be just the right amount of stiffness, but it also had to be light. And so we introduced that before the start of the tour last year, and we basically said to the Matrix team, you guys are getting the lightest bike that we make. Here you go. Here's 10 of them. The frame weight of those is 690 grams, and then you basically have to get it to be race legal. And you do that by putting on equipment that means that it'll weigh more than 6.8 kilos, which is the UCI weight limit. And then the other bike for the riders that participate in time trials is the Speed Concept 9 Series bike. So that's our top-of-the-line cut-into-the-wind weapon, and it looks incredibly sleek. I'm a big fan of high-vis stuff, and fortunately Steph is as well. And, I had the secret plan that I was going to try and get the team wearing as much high-vis stuff as I possibly could. And every time I was like, Steph, I've just got these new high-vis shoes. What do you think? And he's like, yes, go for it. And so, the team would just, I'd give them a big box of stuff. Like, here's your stuff. And they'd be picking through it, and they'd see their, blue riding kit and their white helmets, and then they'd see their high-vis gloves and their high-vis shoes, and like, whoa! But you can see them in the peloton. And that's really, it's functional and stylish at the same time because it actually helps Steph when he's in the team car. He can see where his riders are because they're on very bright bikes and they're wearing very bright shoes and they have very bright gloves. Their race bikes are very green, which I love, and their time trial bikes are the opposite colorway. So their frames are the dark blue with green logos. But you don't have to be quite as visible. And those you just want to look badass. And they look really badass. So yeah, they've got some pretty swanky bikes, and I think they like them. So I've told them they're not allowed to crash. They haven't listened to me.